What's up, guys? Welcome to the Coffee with Sam podcast. This is a very special podcast because today I am not the interviewer. I am being interviewed. I have Juggy from BBC Cambridge Radio who wants to interview me about my weird and crazy career choice. I think it's normal, but he seemed to think that me being a cheer coach for my career is different. So welcome to the show, guys. Juggy from BBC Radio to the Coffee with Sam podcast. Roll that intro. What's up?
How you doing?
I'm good, you?
Yeah, all good, all good. Thank you for being part of this.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So it is the first episode of Untraditional. So basically it's a series where what I'm doing is I am chatting to people with different career choices, finding out why, when, how it all happened. And you're my first guest, Sam, so feel privileged.
Smashed it.
And you're live from Birmingham, right?
Birmingham.
Okay, brilliant. So look, let's start off. Tell us about what you actually do for a career. So just outline it all. Like what do you do?
So some of my business is fitness and personal training. But obviously the unique side to it is 90% cheerleading. So I can do anything from coaching for a program. So for a certain, say like you got Man United, like a certain program, I'd coach for them. And I have a team that I would coach with other coaches and we go to competitions and compete.
Right.
But also I could be employed to go and work with someone else's team to give my knowledge that I've learned throughout the years to them. But also I'm part of an educational company, so I can deliver. If you, Jugsy, wanted to get qualified to coach, I could deliver that course to you to get your cheerleading qualifications to be able to coach.
Okay, so it's all kind of cheerleading specific, but like different stuff within that.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you actually a cheerleader then?
I retired last year.
That's crazy because you're 28 years old and don't retire. So is there like a time frame for like cheerleaders? Is there like an age range?
There is, but you can keep going and you could just do it recreationally if you want to. I know mid-30s that have been to the World Championships and competed.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can keep doing it recreationally if you want to.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Okay, and you've been doing it for 11 years, you said, right?
Yes. Yeah.
11 years. That's a good old run. So that's when you started when you were about 17.
Yeah. So I used to trampoline. So I was a national trampolinist. So I competed nationally trampolining, and always struggled with being on my own. Always struggled with getting on the trampoline and competing on my own. So decided to find a team sport which still had the same implementations as flipping and going upside down and that type of thing. So I found cheerleading, just went to a local club and fell in love with it. The day I went in, fell in love with it.
Really? So that was the day you had the light bulb moment? Like, you know, when you think, I want to do this for the rest of my life, that was the kind of moment?
Yes, there was actually one of my friends, he was a trampolinist as well, and he'd gone to have a look and was like, dude, this is wicked, come and have a look. And I was like, nah, that's not for me. That's not for me. But then I went one session, fell in love with it, and that was 11 years ago.
Hey, the fact that and the thing is, like nowadays it's so hard, there's so many choices. The fact that at 17, you kind of found your kind of path already at that age.
Yeah.
What got you into trampolining in the first place?
So my actual high school was big on gymnastics and trampolining. So from a young age, we were pushed. It wasn't like, oh, well, the football club are good or the rugby club are good. It was, we've got this gymnastics team that travel the world doing shows, and they also go and do competitions. So we were pushed towards gymnastics and trampolining from high school age.
Oh, okay. So always quite athletic, always kind of pushed into that, and then you found cheerleading.
So I left the school team, and me and the same friend joined a competitive outside club to push it and go and compete further. Both of us going to the nationals, and a lot on the team going to nationals. And that's then where I found cheerleading. I found that I was a lot better and calmer in a team environment than I was on my own. And I just enjoyed being in the gym with a team, whereas on a trampoline, I just felt alone.
Okay, no, fair enough. Fair enough. I get that because cheerleading is quite a team kind of spirit.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You feel, isn't it?
You could be the best cheerleader in the world if you haven't got 20 other three athletes that want to win just like you, then you're not going to get anywhere. So everyone has to be the same.
How many people are on a cheer team, a cheer squad?
So a world's team is 24 athletes,
Oh, bloody hell.
but in a recreational, you can go up to I think 30 athletes on the floor.
Okay. And would cheerleading be classed as a sport? Is it classed as a sport? Is it classed as a kind of athlete? Is it not?
Not yet. So 2 years ago at the World Championships, the sport was the cheerleading was asked to be a part of the Olympics.
Right.
So it got accepted by the Olympic board,
Yeah.
but then we haven't had anything after that. But there is a plan. I think there's like changes in the uniform, changes in how cheer's done, and it's going to be a good another couple of years till it's even thought of again. But it's on its way.
Yeah.
But I do believe, this is just my opinion, that the reason is because there's not a good scoring system for it.
Okay. Okay.
So like gymnastics, there's like, well, this is how it happens. Or there's football, you've got to put the ball in the goal more than the other.
Yeah.
It's like very black and white. Whereas with cheerleading, because there's so many aspects, they don't class it as artistic, they don't class it as gymnastics, they don't class it as acrobatic. So they're a bit like, well, how do we score it?
Where do you place it?
Even the scoring's very opinionated. So like I could watch a routine and be like, whoa, that blew me apart. You could be like, well, actually, that's not what I was looking for. So you could mark it down. So I think that's where the argument lies at the moment, is to the judging system.
Okay. But it's on its way. It's on its way.
It's been accepted by the Olympic Committee, so it's on its way slowly.
Fingers crossed,
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. So why do you think it isn't? So apart from the kind of judging system, scoring system, is there anything else you think, okay, why it's not kind of deemed as a sport quite yet? Is it because of, what do you think?
I think it's, to me, it's 100% that the scoring system, because it's so opinionated.
Yeah.
That it's a broader spectrum. Whereas like gymnastics, it's like, well, you're at this level, you have to hit this, and this skill. Cool. They did the same skill as them, but they did it a little bit better. They score us a little higher. Whereas with cheer, I could think a skill was done perfectly, and you could be like, well, actually, they did it slightly this. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's just so many aspects.
There was that one guy in it on the panel.
There's just so many. Like cheerleading is just, I class it as, it's like an explosion in 2.5 minutes. It's like an explosion, and there's just so much to look at. And I think just to get that scoring system down enough to say it's an Olympic sport, which then it's classed as a sport as soon as it hits the Olympics. I think until then, it's just going to be classed as performance.
Okay.
It's horrible to say because it's a lot more than just a performance sport, but we have to accept that at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look, the thing is, as long as you've always got, the industry in general has always got somewhere to go to, that means you're going to keep climbing and fighting, isn't it? Do you get me?
100%. Oh, when I started 11 years ago, the sport is so much further ahead than what it was when I first started.
You must have seen like the big difference, right? From like 17 to 28, like crazy.
Big change.
Was there any hesitation for you, or like negativity from like kind of the outside world or people around you when you said you wanted to, you know, become a cheerleader? And because it's quite a female dominated sport, athletic, you know.
So it's there, but as a person, for me, I could brush it off because I was a mechanic when I first started cheerleading. So I was in the motor trade.
Okay, so you're doing like the kind of typical male thing, and then the untypical male thing.
Yeah, I was working as a motorhead in a garage, and then on the night times and the weekends, I was going off and doing trampolining and cheerleading. But it was more of, I've never cared what I look like. I've never cared how I act. Like, if it's professional, it's fine. But I've never cared if I'm loud, or I've never cared what people care about me. So I've seen it, and I've seen males be affected by it very, very mentally and badly. I've had to send messages to young males who are starting out, and like talking to them because parents have reached out to me. But me myself, I've never been affected by it because it's what I wanted to do, so it's what I'm going to do.
Someone said, "Well, that's amazing. From mechanic to cheerleader. I love that you owned it, Jasmine." There you go. That is a change. That is a kind of complete 360, isn't it?
Yeah, people used to be like, "You do what?" And I was like, "Yeah, on the weekend I go and do cheerleading."
But why do you? What about from the outside point of view? Like, did you get a lot of negativity from outside point of view? Like any of your mates and stuff, or any of your family? Like, what was their reaction to mum, dad? I want to be a cheerleader. Like, or mates want to be a cheerleader.
Yeah, so my dad doesn't get it.
Okay.
Dad
Well,
just
still.
yeah, he's very old school, doesn't get it.
Okay.
My mum, supportive of anything I wanted to do. We'll get into a lot more of where I needed supporting probably further down the interview, but mum, fully supportive, whatever. Outside, never negativity, just don't get it. So I didn't get negativity from friends and people outside of cheerleading, but they just didn't understand it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you've seen the new documentary on Netflix called Cheer.
Yeah. Cheer.
So
Yeah.
that, I had messages from friends that I went to school with like 12, 13 years ago that would message me and say, "Sam, I get it now. I get why you're so invested in it. I get why your social media is just cheerleading. I get why you love it so much." So that documentary's helped out a lot, but
That's nice, isn't it? That is nice. That
never
people...
really negativity. And if I did get negativity, then they're not friends, right?
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, the thing is, in when you do something a bit different, you're always going to get the people that quite don't understand. They're not necessarily negative; they just don't understand, and that's fine. That's normal, isn't it? Like you just gotta deal with that when you choose like something different.
You still get the people now. I think it's funny to say, "Well, it's not a sport," or "You do this," or "It is a bit girly." But as soon as you show them a video of what you do or a training session, which that's what the documentary Cheer's done very well, is it's expressed the training side of it.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, it's just as hard as football or as American football." Or
well, there's a lot to it. There's a lot to learn. Like choreography is like hard to learn, isn't it?
Well, the way I say straight away is to shut them down is dance is about 6 to 8 counts of a 2.5 minute routine. Yeah. So you do a quick 8 count, like 6-8 counts of dance, and that's it throughout the whole thing. That's the only thing that you could say is girly.
Yeah. But okay, so why do you think it is perceived like that? Do you think it's like kind of the media perception of cheerleading and the kind of stuff that's in films and TVs and the pom-poms and the outfits and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I think the media ran with it. Bring It On didn't help. The movies.
Okay, so you think Bring It On, was it help or hindrance?
It didn't help. It was a hindrance because it was all very towards the girly, the diva side of things. Whereas, did you know cheerleading was actually invented by males?
Oh, really?
So it was invented by males to cheer on
exclusive right there.
So to cheer on their own friends at a football game. So it was men cheering on men at a football game.
Right.
And then they got the megaphones so they could be louder than each other. And then it was the girls got involved then to obviously get crowd attraction to the team playing. And then it ran with it with the girls and then boys and girls. But then, yeah, I do think, yeah, Bring It On didn't help at all.
But it publicised it. It publicised that, you know, cheerleading exists and because it's such a big hit film. So do you not think it done good as well or just not?
Like you say, it publicised it, but I can't say, because in America, it's still the same. It's still the same. Like if you're a cheerleader in America, you're cool in the cheer team, but outside of that, you might not be seen as cool as such. So it's a hard one. It is a hard one. Like you say, yes, it got cheerleading into the limelight.
Yeah.
But I do think the movie lines and how it was explained, it was still the boys weren't cool in it.
Yeah.
It was all about the girls. Like if you were a cheerleader, you weren't cool at school, in college, etc. So 50-50. We'll agree 50-50.
50-50.
Yeah, you have a good point.
I think you're swaying more towards 60-40. But why do you think? So obviously, I on the radio, I interviewed a female cheer coach from Essex, and she was like, "What? She doesn't get why men don't sign up. Like, you know, they get to chuck girls up, and they get to like throw people around, and they get to like, and it's actually quite like athletic, and you're doing a lot, and it's like she doesn't get it, and she's like trying to encourage more men to sign up, because on a team you apparently you do need like a good mixture of people, a good mixture of different physiques and everything like that. So why do you think, like, what can be done to encourage men to go down this route a little bit more?
Keep doing what we're doing, because like I say, when I first started in 11 years ago, when I competed, there was two males on my team, and there was probably 7 or 8 males in the whole competition. Even when the big world's teams turned up, they were like, say, 9 or 8 boys. Now you could get 50-50. You could get 15, 16 boys on a team. So I feel just keep going as we're going and keep doing what we're doing. The routines are getting a lot more athletic, so that helps, because then I think, like you say, the males start to think, oh, well, actually, yeah, it's athletic. It's like football. It's like soccer, etc. It's not just pom-poms and stuff like that. So I think that's it. And universities help too, because it's getting very big in universities to do.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
So, like you say, with the girl you interview, it's easy for her because she's not going to get ridiculed at all for doing cheerleading. Whereas it's hard for a male to step somewhere where they're probably going to get some negativity. But I do feel in universities, like a lot of university teams will turn up to competitions now with a lot amount of boys in their team.
Yeah.
So universities are helping. I think we can't really force it.
Yeah.
We can just keep going as we're going.
And why do you think it is more prominent in the US? Because there's a lot of cheerleading activity in the UK, but it just seems like the US is dominated in terms of like cheerleading across the world. Like,
apart from soccer, they dominate everything, right? Sport-wise. I think it's because they see a market, they see an idea, and they run with it.
Yeah.
Obviously, it started in America, I do believe. I might be wrong, but they see a sport and they go with it. And they're so intense out there, which is why they're so good at it. But the UK are coming. The UK are.
Do you genuinely believe that? Because it feels like the US generally support cheerleading by featuring it on TV, featuring it on films. Like, you know, they interview people. Like, they're actually, you know, the universities are really promoting like cheer squads and everything like that. So what do you think in terms of?
I think it's like anything with the British. We're a bit like, we're not going to jump on that until they see something with it as such. And the media, our Team England teams now have 8 world's medals.
Okay.
Throughout the junior division, all-girl division, and co-ed division, which is boy and girl. They're actually the current world champions in every division at the World Championships. But the BBC, etc., they'll run with it for a week, and then you don't see anything. So they'll be like, "Oh, cheerleading, da da da," and then that's it. Whereas in America, they love their sports. They love their sports. It carries on. They feature it on ESPN. Granted, it's not the same weekend as Worlds or competitions, but they do film footage, and it will be on ESPN. It will be on their sports channels. Whereas in England, you won't see that. Maybe in the next 5 years, but.
Do you genuinely think it's heading towards being more publicised, and therefore, if it's more publicised, you're going to get more men signing up? Because if, you know, the positive side's publicised anyway, you're going to get more change. So do you think it is genuinely heading that way?
Yeah, it's on. I'd like to tell you that some of the nationals, so national competition. When I first went to a nationals, it felt like a regionals. You go to nationals now, there are thousands and thousands and thousands. They're struggling to put teams in to the nationals. So when you're in the industry, you see it growing, and then now you speak to people outside the industry, they start to understand it. So I feel like once the public understand it, then the media will understand it. Then it will get. I feel like as soon as the media get hold of it, it's going to be good for us. Yeah. But until then, it's just down to us to keep pushing it and keep doing our thing.
Okay, no, I get that. And how does it all work in the UK? So how is competitive cheer work? Like, so do you compete against, who do you guys compete against, you know?
So we have club and we have country. So you compete against, there's clubs all around the country, and you meet at your regionals. you have competitions there, and then you can meet at your bid events, which are the bigger events, where you can get a bid to go to the World Championships. So you compete, and you'll compete against whoever turns up that day. So maybe 5 teams might turn up for the World's bids, and then you can get one that will get a paid bid. So you actually get sponsorship to go, and then depending on the provider, the competition provider, they will give a couple out where you can go to Worlds, but without the funding.
Right. Okay. So when you think of like sport, you think, okay, look, like football, they're playing it, they're doing the teams, it's publicized, it's on TV, you're watching it. So, it's kind of like underground with cheerleading, and it happens, and there's big events, and people turn up in their thousands, right? But it's just kind of, because you don't hear about it, you're like, oh, how does it all work?
Oh yeah, right. When we have nationals, which we actually are going to miss this year, but nationals is normally the end of our season in July in Bournemouth at the Bic Arena in Bournemouth.
Right. Okay.
And that event is actually now the biggest event that Bournemouth have all year.
See, that's crazy. Like, that's crazy. And no one would know that. Like, right now, you are exposing that.
Yeah.
And what about earning wise? Can you earn from being a competitive cheerleader, a cheer coach? Like, is it a good general income?
You can't earn being a cheerleader.
Right.
Which I do believe myself, because that was my thought 5 years ago, and I was like, you know what, I want to make this a career. In a couple of years, well, maybe 5 years, that there might be sort of a bit more money where sponsorship might be thrown around. And as it becomes more of the UK start to attach onto cheerleading, I think then people will be able to get sponsorships, and it probably will end up like every other sport. It's many, many years for that to go. But as a coach and owning a program and passing on your knowledge, you can make a career at it.
Okay. Oh, someone's asked, how has COVID affected cheerleading? How do you know COVID will affect cheerleading?
At the time, it's affected it because it shut the season down. I actually started my coaching journey with given an actual team to coach this year, and I only got to coach them once at a competition.
What team is that?
So Coventry Dynamite, and then Nitro. Nitro is my team.
Okay.
So we got to do once, and then the season was shut down from there. So it's affected. I think it's going to affect us for a long time, because you could have up to 50 athletes in a gym at a time. And that's a very close-knit people in the changing rooms, in the gym, cheerleading. You're holding hands, you're holding body parts. I feel like it might be a very long time until we're allowed. I hope it's not.
Yeah.
But I think it might be. The US have opened their cheer gyms back up. So fingers crossed it's another couple of weeks for us. But and I'm hoping that every program has had the government support out of this, that we haven't lost any cheer programs. That was I was very worried about cheer programs going under, because they've got overheads of gyms of thousands of pounds, and with nothing coming in, then I do feel like the cheerleading industry has come together throughout this, though, because
that's good. I feel like generally there's a lot of good community spirit. There's a lot of kind of people working together, promoting each other, and I think that's good that you can see that.
Yeah, there's been a lot of help. We've got Sport Cheer GB, which is the governing body that's recently been set up. They've been doing a lot of webinars, and different gyms have been talking to each other to say, this is how I'm dealing with it, this is how I'm still bringing money in, jumping on Zoom, creating online classes for their athletes. I have to go on every Wednesday with my other coach, so me and another coach go on, and we still have to run our team sessions like we would be doing in the gym, to keep our athletes interested, to keep them fit, to keep them not from going insane while they're stuck at home.
Keep them on the right path, yeah?
Yeah, so I think COVID has affected us, as in, it's cut the season short, and you work so hard to compete, and we've only had a chance to do it once, and the World Championships was cancelled, which affected a lot of people this year, me including, because I was actually retired, but I ended up back on a Worlds team.
Okay.
So we would have flew out to America in April to compete at the World Championships. So even me, I was mentally getting ready to compete again, and it got cut short. So it's affected the industry massively, but I do believe that they'll come out of it we're going to come out of it
10
fine.
times better. Yeah. Just think of this as rest time, and then everyone's be ready to go once it's back up and running.
Yeah, yeah.
And you get to travel a lot with competitive cheerleading and doing
Oh
what you
yeah,
do.
you won't believe the places I've been to.
Come on, name me the best one. Where's like kind of the best place?
Vegas.
Really? Okay, that's amazing to know that it travels that far. You
We
can
compete,
actually
yeah.
go.
So the team on Coventry, we traveled to in the same month. Actually, we traveled to Vegas. We competed in the Manly Bay Hotel in Vegas.
Oh wow.
Then we flew back, and then a week and a half later, we then flew back to Florida to stay there for 2 weeks for the World Championships.
Oh, there you go. See, look, it's the perks of the job, eh?
And then now I'm an educator. I get to travel, so I've been and I've delivered cheerleading workshops in Spain, Ireland, Scotland. So I get to travel all around the UK, as well as, like I say, went to Barcelona and spent the weekend there teaching.
Oh, that's good. That's good that you kind of picked a career that allows you to do that. Do you get what I mean? You can do that.
Yeah.
And what about for you? How is kind of, so you're doing cheerleading, you're doing that, but you moved into cheer coaching. How has the difference been for you? And was it more of a financial kind of decision, or was it just kind of natural progression?
Financial would have been there because cheerleading is not a cheap sport to be involved in.
Yeah.
So financially, yes. And also I was ready to coach. So I actually spent a season out in America and watching them coach, because whenever I got coached in England, they were my coach. So I never looked how they coached. I just got coached. Get shouted at, get told what to do. I was an athlete. Whereas in America, I sat back and I watched the coaches coach because I had a lot of free time. And I was like, I want a bit of this. I want my own team. I want people to look up to me, and I want to change, because cheerleading, you're not just a competitor. It's all about, same with any competitive sport. It's about you set the children for life. You set not just the children, the young adults for life. And I wanted to have that effect on people and know that I'd had that effect on people, because I was 27 when I was in America and I learned life lessons from my coaches. So I wanted to be on the other side of the floor, and I wanted to be giving out what I'd learned. And I felt like it, not just financially, but as a person, I was ready to give back.
Okay, so it just felt like it was the right time for you. And that's nice. That's nice that you can give back in a role.
Until I was dragged back in by my coaches.
Yeah, they just wanted you to stay a bit.
I was out of shape, and I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, I would never pass up the opportunity to get back on the floor for my original team, because I love it. That's why I do it. I would never have said no.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you were going to, weren't you, in April?
Yeah.
Back in April. So hopefully that opportunity comes again.
No, now I'm done. I retired once. I'm retiring again. I'm done. I'm done competing now.
Are you sure? Next year you've got to be interviewing you because you're going to Vegas again and competing. And what kind of, how do you balance everything you do? Because you do a lot of stuff on the side as well. You know, within cheer, like, as you mentioned, how do you kind of manage everything kind of, and what is, obviously cheerleading is a passion, but do you see longevity in it, what you do?
For the time being, my partner hates this. I'm a very, as it goes, I'm not going to follow the norm. I don't want a 9 to 5. I don't want to be like normal people. She hates it sometimes, but I built, it all happened step by step as such. So like I coached in the week for my team, and then the education would be a weekend. And then that educational side doesn't run when competitions are running. So then I didn't have to lose out there. So I'd still be able to go and coach at my competitions. So I didn't really cross over, and I didn't really lose any out. I got to do all of it as such. So I built a timetable up that it all worked. So I also coach for dance schools that want to do flips, that want to do their basic flips in dance schools. So like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'd be at dance schools, and then Wednesday night I'd be doing cheer, and then weekends I'd be doing cheer. So yeah.
Hey, how do you find the time? Where do you find the time to deal with it?
But I just built up. I find an hour. Someone asks me if I can do something. Yeah, cool. And I just build it like you would a 9 to 5 job. I just build it around that. And it's all very before and after school. So it's not like you lose time because a lot of it's after school. So I get my days where I do my PT then. So then I go and do my fitness side of it, or if I'm looking after cheerleaders, because I also look after cheerleaders, fitness and conditioning and strength.
Okay.
So I do that on the day, and then the night time is when I'd go and coach.
And like, talking to cheerleaders, so you say you look after a lot of cheerleaders. Mental Health Awareness Week was last week. There's so much kind of prominence on there now, and rightly so. Obviously, with cheerleading not being as in the spotlight as other sports, and maybe obviously I know like loads of cheerleaders are on social media and stuff, but obviously with it not being as publicised, there's not less spotlight on them. How have you seen like how is people cheerleaders coping with mental health and everything like that? Do you see like a struggle there, or is it generally quite positive?
Yeah, I did a great podcast on this actually, with a therapist, professional therapist called Deb, and she comes on weekly on the podcast, and she went really in depth into it. And it can be hard sometimes, especially as a coach, because cheerleading can be a child's or an athlete's or even an adult's safe place.
Mm-hmm.
So they could have some mental issues, or they're not telling you because they're safe at cheerleading. But yeah, you do see it quite a lot. And do you mean, was your question like as in like, do we get it because it's not in the spotlight that you feel it affects?
Yeah, no, I'm saying like because people in the spotlight, they're probably struggling with mental health a little bit more, or maybe a little more prominence because there's a lot more social media kind of prominence on them, and there's a lot more kind of potential trolling. Do you get what I mean? There's a lot more opinions flying about what they do. So do you think it's kind of good that obviously we touched upon earlier that cheerleading is not as publicised? And do you think if it was, do you think that would affect mental health in general? Because obviously there'd be a lot more opinions, like we said.
I feel social media is going to get you whatever you do. If you're a sportsman, if you're a radio presenter, social media is going to get you. And I feel like that's the reason why mental health is becoming such a high thing, is because everyone can say everything they want to say.
Yeah.
I do believe social media, as coaches, as parents, we should try and keep an eye on child's social media 100%. 100%.
But then, what about you? What's your who's been your support system kind of throughout this kind of whole journey for you? Like, what's been your kind of support system and someone to keep you motivated and keep you going?
My mum.
Yeah.
My mum. And like I said at the beginning, and people, if anyone watches that knows me, I like to tell people I'm going to do something, and if they tell me I can't, then I'm doing it. Cheerleading was the same thing. It was like, well, not many people do it, so I'm going to do it.
Hey.
I'm gonna make a career at it. Nah, you won't be able to do that. Okay, cool, I'll do it then. And I did it.
Was it almost trying to prove these people wrong? Obviously you enjoyed it as well. You liked it because you were in that kind of arena. But is it kind of like someone said, it's kind of that rebellion nature going, oh, no.
Yeah, 100%. So when I tried out for my first Worlds team, which was Coventry Dynamite, I didn't think I had a chance of getting on the team. And a few people told me, why are you trying out? You're not going to get on. What? You get me? Still there?
Yeah. Still there. Yeah.
Like, why? You're not going to get on, etc. And I was like, you know what? Like, it's either a yes or a no. You either get a yes or a no. And people were talking behind my back, saying that you still wouldn't get on. And even throughout the process, my coaches, which are now my friends, they would laugh, because throughout the whole tryout process, I was like, oh, I don't think I'll get on. I was even saying to the coaches, people that I was like, even after tryouts, I was still like, I don't know. And that's because what people had said to me was in the back of my mind, but I was actually there to prove a point. And then I got on, and then, many, many years later, I've now got many Worlds medals and proven everyone wrong. And then now the next side of it is financially. Obviously, whenever you say you're going to be self-employed or you're going to do something that's different, I get it. If you get a 9-to-5 job, it's easy to raise money. It's easy to get that paycheck every week. But people saying I can't. So I'm like, yeah, let's do it. I'm going to make a career out of it.
Yeah, and do you think, obviously, like, there's a lot of people that you mentioned earlier that don't understand what you do. There's a lot of people that you said just now were like, okay, don't do it, or, you know, you can't do that. Do you think it's because there's no kind of initial price tag? Like, obviously, this is stuff like, you know, when you do untraditional careers or unconventional careers, it takes a long time to build it up, right? Even for myself. So you have to do the kind of unpaid stuff, you have to compete. Do you think if something's got a price tag compared to it, and that's like, okay, you're earning from the start, that's deemed as more successful than?
Yeah, yeah, 100%, 100%. So it's took me many years to build up to where I was, which is why COVID hit me personally very hard. I know
Yeah.
it's hit um, other cheer coaches, other cheer program owners very, very hard, because everything I worked for the last, say, 6 years, because I was a mechanic first, just been ripped from underneath me, just pulled from
Yeah.
underneath me. And that's another, I've gone through that phase of, can this actually be done? And I went for a few days of like, am I going to have to, are they going to be right, the people who said I couldn't do it? And are they right now, because I can't get through this situation? But then after those 3 days of self-wallowing, I was like, no,
Yeah, good,
let's,
good.
let's prove them wrong again. Let's get through this. Plans to buy a house. And me and my partner, I was like, I'm still going to buy a house. The same date when we were going to buy the house, and nothing's going to change. And that was same again, like I say, few days of self-wallowing and like, oh, okay, maybe they're right. Let's go get a 9 to 5 job and let's be normal. And then I'm back in those 3 days of, no, actually, I'm not going to do that.
But I think that's normal, because I've had that as well. Because every industry is affected by COVID in some sort of way. So it's everyone's kind of has them days, and you're like, oh, do you know what? Maybe this isn't me. Maybe everyone that said you should have done a 9 to 5 is right. And then you're like, oh no, actually, this is what I like to do. Let me. And here we are. We're both chatting.
Yeah, yeah,
Because you actually started your podcast, right? So you've got a podcast.
yeah.
Tell us about that.
So the Coffee with Sam podcast came from being in lockdown, having nothing to do.
Right there.
I like to do social media. Been doing Instagram for a long time, but obviously the stories got the same. I like to put out content. So when I was a competitor, I would vlog. I vlogged the last 2 or 3 years of cheerleading, going to America, etc. And I love talking to people. As people would say, I love talking about myself. So one of those. So yeah, I turned myself over to being the interviewer and just started the podcast. I've got a lot of friends in the industry, get them involved. And then it's now gone out to, I had a nutritionist on who's a friend. And then now people like yourself, we're going to record a podcast. I just enjoy it and giving it out to people. Like if I have 2 or 3 views, I'm not cared about thousands.
Yeah, that's the thing.
If I have one person message me and say, your anxiety or your self-harm podcast has helped my whole program understand the pressures of cheerleading, or just understand the pressures of lockdown, and my child now feels a lot better because I've put those things into place, then I'm happy. I've done a good job.
That's
yeah.
inspiring.
And now I've had a UFC person who wants to jump on and chat about UFC. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm gonna spread it out, and I'm gonna speak to whoever and just chat to people and see if we can get some traction from that. So yeah, it's the Coffee with Sam podcast. I like to drink coffee and I like to talk. So
there you go. Well, look, same here, mate. Same here. No, but I think that's good, because I think obviously I've checked out your content and stuff like that. I think what you're doing is inspiring, but also a really positive message for what you do. Like, you're promoting cheerleading. And how do you think, like we've talked about cheerleading throughout like now, but how do you think, what can be done now? What can we all do, and what can be done more to encourage, first of all, men to perceive cheerleading in a more neutral way? Because it is a neutral sport, and I'm going to call it a sport because even though it's not technically there yet, it is going to be, right? And what can be done to help grow cheerleading in the UK? So what do you think, like, you know, before we kind of finish off and stuff?
So growing cheerleading is people just stop being so naive and small-minded. Okay. Very deep for that.
Straight to the point.
Stop being small-minded. Don't knock it till you've tried it or until you've seen it, because a lot of people haven't seen it. We were on team I was on. We were on Britain's Got Talent. That put us at the forefront. This cheering on Netflix now is going there. So I feel it's the media. It's the people are doing the right thing. The cheerleaders are doing the right thing. I feel the outside community of cheerleading is finally starting to understand it. And then obviously it's the media now. I think it's the media and all the people that are at the top that need to get it. And then cheerleading will grow outside of its own industry. I feel to get males involved in cheerleading is, I'm going to say, it is athletic. I had a boxer come and join in one of our sessions, and he was blowing. He was out, and that was only one session. The sessions are just as intense as soccer, football, because it's passed down from America. The very hardcore sessions are in England the same. Very physically demanding on your body. You will grow a great physique from doing.
I'm doing it. I'm sold. I'm doing it. Right?
I'm doing cheerleading, and the main thing I would say is not just to get males involved in it, but cheerleading accepts everybody.
Okay.
Tall, short, female, male, gay, straight, skinny.
There's so many now.
Skinny,
There's so many categories now.
Overweight. We accept everybody. Like, you can be I have seen some of that you wouldn't class as the Instagram physique, and they are some of the best athletes that I have ever shared a world's floor with. Just because they haven't got a physique, they are some of the fittest, strongest, mentally prepared people I've ever shared a floor with. So the thing with cheerleading is it accepts from everybody from every walk of life. Like, you don't have to be this Instagram physique to be able to be a top level cheerleader. Obviously it helps. It does help. I'm not knocking cheerleading on that way, but we're not fit, we're not healthy. But like I say, I've seen some people who haven't got the best physiques, and they are some of the best athletes that I have ever shared a floor with. Yeah.
Because generally not having the best physique doesn't mean you're not physically fit. Do you get what I mean? Actually, like, yeah. So, okay, look, lastly, I want to finish off with a little game.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you some scenarios, and you need to tell me what would you do, okay? So I'm going to paint the picture for you, Sam, right? We're at your cheer squad, okay? You are the judge. You are the Simon Cowell, okay? Yeah. You are auditioning this whole herd of new kind of people that we have got to come to audition for your squad, okay? And I'm going to give you some scenarios. You're going to tell me what you do, okay? So they are really crap, right? Really, really shockingly bad. No coordination, no, nothing good about them. But they look the part for the team. They look the part. Yes or no? Like, what are you doing?
No.
No.
Oh,
well, straight in there.
What's their attitude like?
Bad.
No, then.
No. Straight away.
No, like I say, no. Okay. Just because you look the part, if you don't have, you can look the part. If you've got no ounce of talent, but a great attitude and a great work ethic, then yes.
Okay.
But if you look the part, you've got no talent, and you've got a bad attitude, then
no. See you later.
See you later.
Okay. If someone with a blue tick, so someone either influencer, celebrity, famous, that can bring a lot of press to the team, a lot of that kind of, that much needed publicity, but they were just average.
Same again. Attitude. What's their attitude?
Bad. It's always bad.
Always bad. There's going to be no to all of these.
That puts you in a little bit of a conundrum, doesn't it?
Well, we might be able to put them on a progression team, so then we can change their attitude to be the way that us and the other coaches want them to be. And then if their attitude changes, then yes, and it's going to bring great publicity. But if they've got a bad attitude, then we don't care about how famous they are.
Okay, I like it. Okay, if someone was great and really good, but wanted to take over, so wanted to kind of do things their way, do the moves their way.
Oh, you got 50% of a team like that.
Oh, really?
These are teenagers we're working with here.
Yeah. Okay. And if someone didn't want to wear the uniform, like the kind of costumes that you wear and what you guys...
Uniform, no costume. Don't you dare say costume.
That's why I said uniform first. I was
Don't
like,
you dare
okay.
say costume. Then they can't. They need to be on a recreational team that's not going to go to a competition, because the uniform is part of cheerleading.
Okay. And lastly, where would you place me in your squad? What am I doing? What position would I be? What do I do?
How flexible are you?
Not that. Not that.
Well, you can get your leg up.
No, definitely not.
You'd be a base then. You'd be a base. You'd be lifting.
What is a base?
So you'd be holding a girl on your hands.
Okay, yeah.
Above your head, and then throwing them.
Okay. There you go. Sign me up right now. Listen, Sam, look, thank you for your time. Thank you for chatting.
Pleasure.
It's been really good to get to know you. Where can everyone follow you and everything like that?
So my personal Instagram is @SamTBM, short for the body mechanic. And then my business page is @CheerPrecisionTBM. So CheerPrecision_TBM. And there you can find all my podcasts, all my fitness stuff, all my cheer related fitness stuff. I do post that on both, and then Cheer Precision on Facebook too, and Sam Thompson on Facebook.
All right, brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Sam. Thank you for your time. Yeah.
No, thank you for doing something like this, not just for me, but for the other guests you're going to have on. But thank you for shedding the light on cheerleading.
No worries.
And when we're back and we can do lockdown, I'll come to the studio.
Yes. Definitely come.
Get me on the radio.
Yeah. All right, take care. Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you later, dude.
Puzzle pieces.